going on, y'all? So I was looking at this study showing that 8.3 to 8.9 million, it's not a set figure, but it's definitely well over 8 million different Americans work 2 or more jobs. To put that into perspective, there is about 375 million people in the United States. That's born. That's that's the day after someone was born till the oldest person or oldest group of people, right? So just a little under 400 million. The working class, or the amount of people at least employed at the time of the study or article, I believe, is around 40% of that, right? So that's 165,000, give or take. 165 million. Sorry, right? People who work or unemployed at that time, or at least the ability to work, right? So then if you do 8.5 million divided by 165 million, right? That's 5 to 6% of people who work has more than one job, has 2 or more jobs. So basically, right, for every essentially adult, right, say maybe 18 and up, 21 and up, right, at least at that minimum age, within that age group, essentially 1 to 2 in every 20 people you see have 2 jobs by themselves, right? You put in an array, people who have the capacity to work, at least in a room, 20 different people, throw yourself in it. 1 or 2 of those people hold 2 or more jobs. So put that in perspective, how pretty substantial that is, right? And that's whether that person has a partner, spouse, right? Where they could detach, where there could be a separate check coming in that's not earned by an individual, or that could be a single person, right? Either or, it doesn't predicate whether you're a 2-person household or a 1-person household, right? It doesn't predicate to that. It's just the average person. Not the average. I'm sorry. 5% of the work, 5 to 6%, about 5.5%. I'll just round up to 6 of Americans as of last month works 2 or more jobs. So there's some households, right? There could be some households where, again, you have 2 people working. There could be households, I haven't seen that statistic yet, haven't dug that deep, to where it's showing to where they are actually working 3 or 4 jobs to maintain. It could be. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I throw in another fact. Basically 1 in 3 Americans has a side gig, or at least one side hustle that they're wanting to bring extra income, supplemental income in. That's just the name of the game living in America. Again, if you're not physically in that 5% tax bracket, and obviously mentally in the 1% tax bracket, because you could make $150,000 compared to someone making $300,000, and you're smarter with your money, and you keep more of your money, or you multiply more of your money. Your income, gross or net, is half that of someone else's. So that's why I said 1% mentality. But there is a certain tax bracket. I believe strongly of comfort, the ability to save, invest, and afford day-to-day living You know, all households has to be in that 5% tax bracket. They have to. So, yeah, I think that's interesting, man. Some people, you know, I would say most would consider that they're struggling. And you know what's funny? 5%, 6% number of people who are working 2 or more jobs, right? Again, 1 or 2 people in every 20 people. I'll say about one. You're not gonna split somebody up. That's why I'm saying 1 to 2 people, right? At most 2 people in every 20 people you meet has multiple jobs. And most people who work are struggling. So it's either struggling because they have a work-life balance deficiency where they're working 2 jobs or more, whether it's part-time or full-time, for both or either. And then on the other side, is that a person only has 1 job. And they're struggling because it's only 1 income, only 1 check, 1 dependency. And then the worst side is being unemployed. So, you know, and obviously the income you make for each job, it matters. All in all, the mindset behind working and making income for any job at any income level matters the most. But between being unemployed, between having 1 job, between having 2 jobs, it really don't matter, man. You know what I'm saying? You see how far, like that gap is it's just dividing further and further. It's just bad. You know, I was watching a video last week, and a lady in New York, albeit she's in New York, but she's single, she has no kids, i.e. no dependencies, limited liability, it's just her, right? And she's increased her income 20-fold, right? You know, like making, she said, I think 15 to 20K 1 year, and then a couple years later, she started her own business. You know, it's revenuing at a little over $1 million, and she has a discretionary income of that of about $300,000, and it's rising. Yet she feels she still has to be working at the level she's working. Although she is single, yes, she's in New York, but she's single, right? I don't care. If you're grossing $200,000 a year, right? That's grossing what, 25K a month net. Let's just say taxes is disgusting. All right, 50%. Let's just say 50%, and it shouldn't be that much because she's single and she has her own business, so she should have some tax credits or tax cuts. So let's just say her discretionary, her net income, her gross is 25, net is somewhere between 15 to 18K, right? She's by herself. And it's not my words, it's her words. She no kids, no partner, right? So, you know, she hasn't mentioned that she's on and off in the dating scene. I'm not even sure if she feels she's able to afford a family. Even though her income is growing. She's in a studio apartment. I don't remember her rent, but even if she was paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month for a studio, which is insane, she can still afford it. Her net income is 3.5 times that, right? 3.5 to 4 times that. She can afford that. You know, from what's coming in versus what's coming out. But she feels herself that she's trapped. She's in this rat race type of debacle because she's pretty much spending what she's making. You know, her discretionary income is being exhausted due to the heightened cost of living she's providing herself. So again, right? Unemployed, 1 job, 2 jobs. You know, you're in the 3, 4, 5% tax bracket in different parts of the country. household of 4 or 5 or single, it doesn't matter, because we're so trained to over consume anyway. Yes, most of it is the system, but it's also the mindset that we keep ourselves in, of understanding on what's affordable and what's not. Simple as that. But that's the environment we're in. We are what we are due to our environment. But there is loopholes. There always are loopholes. There's always our studies. There's always our groups and interventions and ways that you can pivot mentally. You know, isolation is one of them, which is, moving is one of them. Literally writing down your stuff, your notes, your finances, what you want in 5, 10, 15 years, if you have a goal to retire, because that's not even a default action anymore. Like if you actually know what you want, you will make a change. It don't matter. A lot of people can't make a change because they're just stuck at 1% mentality. It's not there. So I don't keep ranting. Just thought that was interesting, man. You guys in that 5 to 6%. What do you call it? Statistic? Are you guys looking to pivot out and, find a way to live off of one income / one job, or start your own business? I don't want to be negative Nancy, but, both sides of the coin, it isn't that pretty. It's always got to have an open mind and definitely balance that gray area and figure what works exactly for you. All right.